So jumping into my mindset when it comes to movement on the Ice Gauntlet, I do take a slightly different approach to the Fire Staff, but that's actually by playing slightly more aggressively than we do on the Fire Staff. And the reason for that is people are generally aware of how strong the utility portion of the Ice Gauntlet is. The damage by itself is not as much anymore, obviously, after this patch, but it's still a very strong utility and lockdown weapon. And especially when paired with the rapier, even if you're in heavy armor, you can still get blown up. And I like to use that as a constant threat and play more aggressively with my movement on my rapier. Now, where this kind of gets countered a little bit is against ranged builds, because with my current setup using shower and spike, ranged builds or is where it's a little bit harder to use this strategy, because the only thing we can really use to rely to catch a ranged player who's not going to be walking into us is the spike. And especially when you're in an outnumbered fight like this, previously what I would like to do is fall back on entomb when I'm taking a lot of pressure or I miss my spike. But after this last patch, it's really becoming almost impossible to use. As you can see in this background clip here, I'm in it for literally a second or two and it is already taken out and I have to retreat. I jump onto the mage though, and we do put a lot of damage into him and I almost take him out. But the issue is, being in that we're in an outnumbered fight, he can sit in his entomb for a second and I take a bunch of pressure and have to retreat. So even though they said they're going to buff the ability a little bit, I have been considering switching this out for Storm, and I'm going to kind of show you some clips and talk about that a little bit later. But currently, as you can see, I'm really forced to kind of retreat and re-engage into fights when I'm in situations like this. I jump back into these guys here and I get the mage very, very low again, but as I mentioned, he has his entomb. I jump into mine, it gets taken out instantly, and I have to essentially run away and heal. So I throw down a shower to kind of just cover my retreat there, and I catch the musket player in it. But I'm really kind of in a tough situation here, because if I go for any of the DPS, they get healed by the healer, and if I go for the healer, I get pressured by the DPS. So currently in this patch, we're in a kind of a pickle with this weapon, but I've been trying to make it work, honestly. I kind of walk up to the healer here and my shower comes back up. So I literally just go ahead and I throw down a shower on top of him. We take a lot of pressure, but I do flip the damage and put a lot of pressure back into him as well. We land the parry, but I do a backwards evade because I thought that that would be enough damage. But it's just barely not enough, and we do get taken out there. So for fights like that, I think in Ice Storm, excuse me, would be definitely be a much better option for this kind of playstyle. So going back into how I like to use this combination and move with it, we have a little 1v1 that kind of turns into a 2v1 here against a mage. And as I mentioned, we're going to go ahead and just play super aggressively. So we're going to go ahead and just try to walk this guy down with our rapier, constantly evading, trying to stay in his face. Because it's a 1v1 right now, we're kind of just throwing out all of our gauntlet abilities off cooldown, because I don't really need to use them defensively at the moment. So like I mentioned, we're going to go ahead and try to just keep our rapier DPS while trying to land spikes on him. We get hit by a hammer stun, it looks like, and get caught in an ice storm. So I stun the hammer player and jump into my entomb and jump right back out of it, because like I said, it has no health right now. And then we catch the melee player into a shower there just to give ourselves a little bit of breathing room, but use my mobility to both stay on this mage and kind of keep my distance from this melee player. So we use our flesh to kind of stick onto the mage while we have this melee player kind of chasing us, but we're getting pretty blocked by the wolves there. So I could just retreat for a second to get a potion off. The mage pushes ahead, being a little bit cocky there, seeing that we're low. So we turn back on him, throw our flèche out, land a combo, and we just barely hit him with the light attack there, and then we're left to the 1v1 with the hatchet player here. So we're going to go ahead and jump into our evade combo, throw down the ice shower, He does actually dodge through both our spike and our shower, but we are damaging him in between both of those abilities and essentially retreating back. So we're still getting the value out of that both of those abilities, and we're able to essentially finish off that 2v1 by just playing it aggressively, essentially. And then we're left to a 1v1 here where I get caught with a nasty rapier stun and get taken out by a really nice combo here by the bowman. But essentially that's the switch that I like to do when it comes to this weapon. We play super aggressively with our rapier, knowing that we have the threat of our ice gauntlet to either go offensive or play defensively to try and catch somebody either in a shower or a spike or an entomb to keep ourselves defensive. I do think though currently in this patch that Ice Storm is going to be a better option for this setup, because not only can we lock down ranged players, but Storm provides a huge amount of threat. As you can see in the background here, we have 3 melee players on us. I throw down the Storm to try to finish off that one, but it kind of misses and I land a shower on all 3 of them. We get pulled anyways, and then I land my parry to kind of give myself some breathing room and we flash away. But I throw down a shower here and you kind of see all of them kind of just go to the left because of how much threat that ability provides. And we go ahead and use that opportunity to go ahead and jump on the one player that we do have caught in there. We finish him off, land a spike onto the next Great Axe player to kind of hit him with a decent amount of burst even though we're in his well. And then we capitalize off of that to finish off the kill there. But for both melee and ranged builds, I feel like Storm is going to be a really nice option for this patch right now to kind of replace the entomb that we're kind of missing. But I do have a really nice fight here to kind of bring it all together and really show you guys what I mean. So we have a really big fight on Sun at the beginning of a match here, and I do a big flank, and we have pretty much half the team behind the point here. But regardless of that, we're going to go ahead and go aggressive. As I mentioned, we jump onto one of the healers right away, get him very low, but we get caught in a Void Gauntlet snare. And before, while I would be able to jump into my entomb and reset my health, we're kind of forced to kind of retreat and regen or use line of sight. So I kind of just run around for a bit and get some line of sight behind the walls here to get some health back. And as soon as we're topped back up, we jump right back in. So I go ahead and throw in a storm on the backline there. We get caught with the Spirit Stone, but you see I hit somebody with a ton of damage. They must not be running any defense on their build, but we are taking a lot of pressure from this Spirit player here. So I again just have to retreat for just a second. We chug a potion, land a spike back onto the Spirit player, and we again go aggressive on him. While we're playing aggressive and using our combos, we're also dodging because we're throwing out evades. But somebody else finishes off that player there. So while the other players are distracted, I go ahead and jump right back onto this Void Gauntlet player that's in our face. Use the Rapier combo to essentially finish him off in that 1v1 there. And we look for another target here to go ahead and try to finish off. So I notice a heavy armor Void Gauntlet player here. Now that we have some teammates kind of distracting the enemy players. And then we jump into another 1v1 here. We get hit with a snare again, but I'm going to keep the pressure up because I don't want him to heal back up to full either. So he throws on a storm, so we keep our spacing, dodge his Void Gauntlet snare this time, and a teammate finishes him off. But we're going to go ahead and jump right back into this fight and use our Ice Gauntlet to provide threat. So we throw down a storm onto the next player here. It misses, but we land a shower, so we have a ton of damage from both our chill and the debuff from the shower. Finish him off in that 1v1 there. Even though we're not full, we jump right back into the next couple of players that we see here. Get them both pretty low, but they both retreat and then get a little bit of a heal off. So we're going to go ahead, throw out our storm, try to see if we can land a root on one of the back players there. But yeah, as I mentioned, playing aggressively is the key with this combination. You have to understand that you have a ton of utility with the Ice Gauntlet. So while you're playing aggressively, you can either use that weapon to play defensively to catch somebody in a root to get out of a sticky situation, or to continue playing aggressively to get a combo off with one of those roots. So I hope this video was helpful. The next couple of videos will be more focused on the actual abilities I'm using and what I would recommend to use in what situations. So we're going to be diving a little bit more into the rapier itself. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching and have a great day.